Hello, this is Christopher Poche with the University of Louisville Libraries. In this video, I will offer you some suggestions for using library databases to help you find a variety of resources for your research paper. This research paper tasks you with devising an innovative program to address a societal problem and identify a particular community affected by that problem. You will need to consider both the present state of the issue and how past programs have failed to address it. Using library databases is ideal for this kind of research, which will require you to consider multiple perspectives over time. The search tools included in these databases will enable you to focus your research so you can find specific resource types, including newspapers and magazines, scholarly journals, and statistical information. Before using the library's databases, it is good to develop a general search strategy by deciding upon a simple set of keywords. Let's say you have chosen to research the problem of food insecurity, its impact on college students, and the effectiveness of food banks in addressing the problem. The keywords you will want to use for your search will be the most important ideas and concepts from your topic: food insecurity, college students, and food banks. These keywords are a good start, but it is a good idea to consider both some broader and narrower terms as well, in case your initial search produces only a small number of results or a very large number. Some broader terms could include hunger, students, and charities. Some narrower terms could include terms that focus your search according to geographical regions, such as American states or cities, distinguish between public universities and community colleges, or focus on particular student identities, such as LGBTQ or scholarship students. Keep in mind that you may need to try multiple searches with different combinations of your keywords in order to find the best results. Now that you have developed your search strategy, you can apply it to finding resources through the library. If you are working at home when doing your research, it is a good idea to begin by logging in the library's website so you are recognized as a member of the U of L community who should have access to the library's databases and their full-text content. Go to Accounts at the top right side of the screen and click Off-Campus Login. Enter your ULink ID and password here. A good place to start your research is our subject guides, which can be found on the left side of the page under Quick Tools. The subject guides categorize library databases by subject area, making it easier for you to find the most relevant resources for your research topic. Since in your class your particular research project can be on any number of different subjects, I am going to use EBSCO Academic Search Complete, which is a general database that covers a broad range of topics. You can find EBSCO Academic Search Complete and other multidisciplinary databases on the Any Topic Subject Guide. The database opens to a search page that includes 3 search boxes. We can now enter the keywords we have identified from our research strategy. We'll enter food insecurity in the first box, college students in the second, and food banks in the third, and then click Search. This search produces 14 results, which is a very manageable number. However, it might be too few results at the beginning of your research. You might consider applying your broader keywords, or maybe just searching for food insecurity and college students to get a broader sense of the problem. But let's take a look at the results we have for the moment. As I scroll through the results, notice the limiting tools that the database provides on the left side of the screen. You can limit the results according to resource types, such as academic journals, magazines, or newspapers. Academic journals contain articles written by specialists in a particular subject. These articles are carefully researched studies and often focus on very particular aspects of that subject. Magazines and newspapers contain articles written by journalists and other well-informed writers, if not specialists. You can also limit according to publication dates. These tools are especially helpful when you know you want a particular kind of resource or when your search produces hundreds of results. Now let's take a look at the 8th result, the article, Food Insecure Student Clients of a University-Based Food Bank Have Compromised Health, Dietary Intake, and Academic Quality. This article seems promising because it seems to address many aspects of your research paper's goals. But let's take a closer look. Notice that an icon next to the article title marks this article as coming from an academic journal. Click the article title in order to access more information. The next page presents lots of information about this article, including a list of subject terms. As your research progresses, you can use these subject terms in addition to the keywords you have already brainstormed for your research strategy. Also included on this page is the abstract. It is always a good idea to read the abstract to get a quick overview of the article. This will enable you to decide if the article will be useful to you without having to read the whole thing. If you decide that this article is indeed relevant to your research topic, you can start reading it by clicking the HTML or PDF links on the left side of the screen, or you can save it to read later by clicking one of the various options on the right side of the screen. These options include saving it directly to your computer, a flash drive or Google Drive, emailing yourself a copy, or just printing a copy. Another useful option on the right side of the screen is the Cite button. Click this to get a citation in any of a number of citation styles, including MLA and Chicago styles. You can copy and paste the citation directly into your research paper, but be sure to check the citation to make sure everything is correct. These citations are machine-generated and may include errors. Though the EBSCO database has full-text access to a great many of the articles it finds, in some cases it provides only bibliographic information. When we go back to our search results, notice that the third article in the list, which seems particularly relevant to our topic, has no links to HTML or PDF full text. Instead, there is the Find It at U of L button. Though EBSCO may not have access to the full text, it is possible that another database that the library subscribes to does. In the case of the third article, the library has access to it via the Springer Complete Journals database. Unfortunately, sometimes the library does not have access to an article, but in that case you can still request the article via our Interlibrary Loan service. Click the Request item through Interlibrary Loan button, fill out the form to place a request, and we will try to get the article from another library. We'll send you a PDF copy of the article, usually within 5 days. Now let's switch to using a different database. Since your research topics will be addressing contemporary problems, you will need to access the most up-to-date news and commentary on these problems. Newspapers are particularly useful in this respect, and though the EBSCO database does include some newspapers, it does not include the major national and city newspapers that will be essential to your research. The library has several databases that provide full-text access to many such newspapers. Let's return to the subject guides and open the News Guide. As with all the subject guides, the News Guide recommends some of the best databases for its particular subject. The guide also has links to some other guides that provide information about ways to access some of the most important newspapers, including the prominent national newspapers, the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, and our local newspaper, the Courier Journal. I am going to select the New York Times Research Guide. The library offers several options for accessing this newspaper, including the print edition and several databases. For your research, you will want to use the New York Times via ProQuest database because it includes comprehensive full-text coverage of the newspaper from 1980 to the present. The other databases have some limitations that will prevent you from accessing the most recent issues. When we open the database, we see 2 search boxes, as opposed to the 3 we saw in EBSCO. Once you are comfortable working with one database, searching another should be easy. Each database may look a little different, but the basic functions are the same. Here, we will need to add a third search box for our 3 keywords. Our search produces 115 results. That's a lot of articles to sort through. So the various limiting tools the database provides can be helpful to narrow your search. As we saw in the EBSCO database, you can limit your search in many ways, including by publication date and document type. There are 80 news articles, which is still a relatively large number of results. You could further limit the news results by publication date or by refining your search with your narrower keywords. Let's select the document type commentary, which has just 16 results. The first result, "It's hard to study if you're hungry," appears promising. As we did before in EBSCO, click the title to access more information about the article. You can read the abstract and read the full text of the article. There are also the usual options for taking the article with you, including downloading a PDF and emailing yourself a copy. Now let's consider one final resource type, statistics. When we return to the Any Topic subject guide, we find that there is a research guide for finding statistics and data. This guide highlights two databases, Statista and ICPSR, and provides detailed instructions for finding statistics on any topic in them. As we have already examined two databases in some detail, we do not need to look at these. Instead, here's a different approach to finding statistics on your topic by using Google. Search Google using the phrase cite:/.gov and food insecurity statistics. This search will return statistics gathered on your topic by agencies of the government. Since the results will be from government websites, the statistics will be available for free. If you ever have any questions, big or small, about your research, U of L librarians are available to help. If you click the Ask a Librarian link at the right side of the library's homepage, you will find a number of ways to communicate with a librarian and receive help. You can chat with a librarian from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on weekdays. Alternatively, you can email a question or call one of the 6 individual U of L libraries. Finally, you can schedule an appointment with a librarian for more in-depth help. Thank you for your attention and good luck with your research.